Well, that ended abruptly, and welcome to Caching in the Northwest. You know, this is the podcast from the birthplace of geocaching right here in the great Pacific Northwest. Now, it's Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific, and they used to call me Chris of the Northwest. And we're going to talk about geocaches and geocachers from here and all around the globe. So while you're recovering from the flu shot, we'll be caching in the Northwest.
Is that foreshadowing that they used to call you that? Are you hinting at something?
Nope.
Oh, I don't need no flu shot. I can get the flu without a shot. Anyway, I'm Wits End. I'm glad you're all here. And tonight, we're going to talk about some night caching stuff.
Ooh, scary.
Does it feel spooky? Does it feel pumpkin-y? Live viewers, jump in the chat as I see it just scrolling there already. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's make this a real conversation, as always. But first, well, it's time to bring in our spooky monkey. Some say he sleeps hanging upside down. And others say for a show of this length, your aspirin needs to be extra strength. All we know is he's called Len Monkey.
I will guarantee I will give somebody a headache tonight. Yeah.
And it'll probably be one of us.
Headache's okay. Concussion, no good.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, hey, we got lots of stuff to go through tonight. I'm looking forward to chatting with you guys and with all of you listeners about night caches. We've got a few ideas we want to banter around, but we've also got something a little extra special tonight. We're going to try something a little different for the particular evening that it almost is. And but before we get into any of that, well, we want to throw out a quick reminder of how much we support the appreciation of our patrons. You know what? It actually works both ways, doesn't it? When you think about it. Anyways, I'm backpedaling here. All right. Well, first of all, thanks to Landsharks, LANDSHARKZ.ca. They are one of our corporate Denali level sponsors. And, they have those Gajif or Fall Ceto coins, their swag, your winter caching supplies. They got some pretty cool custom-made toques even that you can get there. So, hey, check it out online today at LANDSHARKZ.ca. Cachly, well, Cachly is the premier geocaching app for iOS. Version 8.1 with Cachly Pro will allow you to work on those challenges because you get those offline maps of the entire world, including all the different grids and counties and challenges and all that kind of stuff. So, you know what? Get out there. Good season to be working on your challenges. So, if you're going to do that, you're going to use Cachly, and that's the only option. So, if you want to find out more, find it in the iOS App Store or go to cachly.com. And our third and final corporate to another level sponsor, well, that would be the community of Valemount. In fact, it would be Tourism Valemount, who are encouraging you to, well, right now it's really transitioning into sled season. You're getting snow up there and everything. So if you like snowshoeing, if you like sledding, if you like skiing, whatever it is that you like to do out in the snow, if you like to go, sorry?
You like funk.
If you like funk, well, definitely the place to go. There is some number of alarms of funk going on up there now. But yeah, alongside nature's beauty, they have a vibrant village that offers local charm, unique geocaches, warm hospitality, and a unique cultural experience. So seek your outdoor thrills or just a peaceful retreat inside by the fireplace. Valemount awaits you.
If you're going to do snowshoes, do you need snow socks?
It works best that way, yes.
Okay.
But what's hard is keeping them from melting. In my experience.
And yeah, once you have wet snow socks, it's no good.
It's
My
no
feet
good
are
at all.
usually cold anyway, so maybe that would help.
Maybe. Well, folks, if you want to know more about snow socks or any of our sponsors, or just how you yourself could support this here podcast, well, head on over and click the Patreon link on the cachingandw.com website.
Thank you so much. It was very nice. We're not going to do that other segment tonight, so let's just jump into the unusual content for this evening. We've got a little story to read to start off. And you know what? Maybe we shouldn't mention funk anymore in relation to Valemount. We'll let that,
We can move on.
we can move on from the funk.
We have unusual hosts. Why not an unusual content to match, right?
That's right.
Well, I see here in the show notes that there is a geocaching ghost story tonight. So let's read, shall we? The affliction of the ancient ammo can. It was a night that felt less like October and more like the very end of time. The mist clinging to the skeletal fir trees of the Olympic Peninsula was thick enough to drown in, and the air held that particular damp chill that suggests strongly that something is watching you. We weren't hunting for just any cache. We were seeking out the legendary GC TORTRE. It could be tortree, could be torture. I don't know. It's also affectionately or perhaps fearfully known as the affliction of the ancient ammo can. Its difficulty terrain rating was a terrifying 5-5, not because of a vertical cliff face or a cipher based on Sumerian runes, but because the description simply read, "If you log this, you deserve what you find, and it deserves you."
Hmm.
Its logs were a catalog of human misery. DNF. My compass spun itself into thread. Found it, logged it. Now my dog only barks in Latin. And the last cryptic entry from 2017, the tracking number, it wept.
The coordinates led us deep into the grounds of the abandoned Blackwood Asylum for the temporarily disturbed. Naturally, at ground zero, the signal bounced around like a desperate soul trying to escape a mirror maze. We knew we needed some serious tots. You know, that's tools of the tundra, tools of the trade, tools of the terrible, terrible luck. Forgetting the telescoping mirror and the handy magnet, Wits End had brought a silver locket containing his grandmother's blessing. Jay was swinging a censer. It was armed with a 30-foot length of rope, and he had a very worried expression. The hint was useless. Beneath the oldest resident, which in a derelict asylum graveyard could mean almost anything. After nearly an hour of hacking through ivy that seemed to be actively recoiling from my flashlight beam, we found it. A dense knot of ancient petrified tree roots embedded deep within, coated with a viscous, tarry substance that smelled suspiciously like old coffee and existential despair, was the cache.
Oh, it wasn't a sleek Nalgene bottle wrapped in camo tape or a tidy little peanut butter jar. No, it was a 50 cal ammo can. I mean, who doesn't enjoy finding a 50 cal ammo can? But one that had clearly seen things no metal should ever witness. It was rust-pocked, dented. It gave off a low, mournful hum that was definitely not a mosquito. So Chris, he had to use a crowbar, one of the tots he brought, to pry the clasp open. And when he did, a breath of air, a cold, rotten sigh puffed out, smelling strongly of old socks and the ghost of geocaching past. The contents, however, were where the real terror lied. The logbook wasn't paper, it was a small dried out copy of Walden, every page filled with the same shaky handwriting. I should have stayed home. I should have stayed home. No beer and no TV make Homer something something. The ink wasn't ink. It looked like dried blackberry juice mixed with tears, and the swag. Forget carabiners or plastic dinosaurs. The swag consisted solely of one single, slightly sticky unlabeled rubber ducky, and a small brittle photograph of a man who looked exactly like Wit's End, but with a much, much worse mustache.
Hmm. I will neither confirm nor deny the historical accuracy of the mustache, but I can tell you that as soon as the flash hit the photo, the ammo can slammed shut with the finality of a coffin lid. Oh, we wrestled it back open, my dignity fully gone, I might add, and located the sole remaining item, a travel book. Now, this was no ordinary trackable. It was a small lead cast figurine of a tiny weeping man holding a geocoin named Cobble's Eternal Lament. It didn't have a goal. Its mission description was simply, do not touch me. Do not log me. Just know that I know where you live. As Chris reached for it, the little figurine visibly shuddered.
Now, I wasn't touching that. I'm a dedicated cacher, but I draw the line at actively engaging with miniature weeping effigies. Okay? Land Monkey, ever the pragmatist when faced with paranormal threats, suggested we grab the trackable code with a pair of, can you believe, barbecue tongs that he just happened to bring completely for some unknown reason. As the tongs closed on the tag, a high-pitched, reedy voice, the sound of a forgotten GPS battery draining, floated out of the can. Release me, it shrieked. My mission is to haunt the geocaching app of whoever dares disturb my coordinates. May your future caches be nothing but empty film canisters, and your finds be infinite DNFs.
Wow. We didn't need to be told twice. We tossed the trackable, tongs and all. I can get another pair. Back into the ammo can, slammed the lid shut, and replaced it beneath the oldest resident, which turned out to be the petrified remains of an ancient survey marker. We signed the new log entry with shaky hands, and an entry I believe will read something like found it, recommend higher T rating for emotional trauma, and scrambled back to the truck. As we tore out of the asylum grounds, tires spinning gravel, we realized the horrifying truth. The trackable hadn't been lying. When we checked the website later, Cobble's Eternal Lament was not logged as retrieved. It had been logged mysteriously as seen. And beneath the log was a one-word comment posted an hour later from an unknown user named simply the cache owner. And all it said was soon. So, Wits End, Chris of the Northwest, and all you caching in the Northwest listeners, if you ever spot a trackable named Cobble's Eternal Lament and it pops up on your map with a goal of whispering secrets into your ear during a night cache, please just stay home. That cache has too much DT and not enough tot. Good luck and happy caching, if you dare.
Mhm.
Oh, that was kind of fun. GSM times 2 said you should always carry barbecue tongs into a cemetery.
Well, yeah.
I feel very supported by that comment. Thank you.
Cash Cranky goes, wow, that was something.
Yeah.
It's something. Should have air quotes around the or scare quotes around the something, but yes, that is definitely what it was. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. A little bit of Halloween fun.
So, folks, we are actually going to talk about night caches tonight. So, if you want to join in on the fun, use the hashtag night, I know, to talk or to bring up anything in the chat. And you've seen we're doing a little something different tonight. You know, StreamYard keeps adapting, keeps changing. We've got there we go. We've got the actual chat stream right there in the video, in case you're interested. And in case you're interested, you can use the hashtag FATAS. You see how I did that? pretty nice little segue there, huh? Use the hashtag FATAS to bring up any topic for the after show. I don't do it the same. Oh, where did Land Monkey go? I thought he was just here. Oh, there he is again.
Hey, just on that note, I see a comment that just came up from 65 cents the Twinkie.
Yeah.
Saying, not sure where my name went from CRS 98 to 65 cents the Twinkie. Well, there's some unusual paranormal activity going on with YouTube these days. And we've noticed in the last show and this show, it's using, I guess, the YouTube username that you have logged in with, and not your alias anymore. We're trying to find a way to switch it back. So we're going to thank for those like CRS98 who has his photo attached, so we know.
Yeah, I know who it is.
Was there a time Twinkies only cost 65 cents?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Okay.
Where's that coming from?
That's my work cell phone.
Oh, that's what my work sounds like every day.
Huh. But it's
Well,
not
if you need to
it's
go.
not a number I know.
Okay,
If there's a voicemail, then I may have to go to work, but we'll see.
fair enough. Hopefully the televisions are all working.
The ghosts are responding.
Responding. That's right. It was Cobble's eternal lament.
Okay. So we are going to talk about creating a night cache, right? And we're going to bring up several points as we talk about this. Yeah, we're not done with the handles yet. I wondered where the numbers came from that show up after my name.
It's probably your technically official YouTube username.
Exactly. And some people have the same.
Starcasters.
Sorry.
Go ahead, read it, Chris.
Starcasher says, okay, I just joined, and before I went to the start and watching at 1.75 speed, I hear the comment about bringing barbecue tongs to a cemetery. I look forward to finding out how that statement makes sense. Okay, so first point in making a night cache is the starting point, right? Hopefully they're going to take you to some, dark spot. That's the whole idea of the night cache, right? It's something that you should not be able to do during the day.
Ideally.
Yeah, the quality of the night cache is often determined by the thrill of locating the very first reflective tack or UV mark or something to that extent.
Yeah, I think so. I think that makes a lot of sense. So, Chris, in your experience, I don't know if you've ever set up a night cache yourself, but in the ones that you've done and enjoyed, what would you say is the best technique you've seen for setting up that critical first stage, that starting point? And we're talking like the ones using reflective night tacks. Do you think it's a good idea to make it really obvious, like you can't miss like a big arrow of night tacks pointing at the trailhead, or maybe something more subtle? You need to do a 5-minute beam sweeping search to set the mood and get people into the game. What do you think works best?
I've done both. Okay. Now, Wits End and I just did some night caches that, hadn't been found in a while. And, they give you a starting point of a trailhead. Well, there's only one way to go, right? So we're going to go down that way. And it took, I don't know, it seemed like an incredibly long time before we found the first tack.
Yeah,
Like,
it was probably like 12 seconds, but it felt like a long time.
Yeah. And, oh, good. Okay. We've got a tack. We're on the right path. And again, took a long time before we found the second one, just to the point of like, maybe we shouldn't do this. Oh, hey, look, there's a tack.
Yeah.
I think somebody walked that out just purposely, right? To the point of like, no, this isn't any. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Well, and it's hard when a night cache hasn't been found in a while, because then you think, well, maybe this one hasn't been maintained, and that's why nobody's found it, because none of the markers are there. But
yeah, and I know we're going to talk about this a little bit more later, but you just brought up a really good point. It's something I learned a few years ago, Jim, and it's that the bark on trees, most trees, as the tree grows, the bark twists.
Hmm.
So if you've put the tack, like 5 years ago, the tack was right here facing you exactly, it's going to move. I mean, not like 180 degrees in a year,
Eventually.
or something, but no, eventually it would.
Oh, it's
But
nighttime. It doesn't get that warm.
that's right. But yeah, I think it's just interesting fact that to your point, Jim, about like, oh, this is an old one, it hasn't been done for a while. If you own a night cache, you can't just assume you never need to do maintenance on them.
Right.
But we'll talk about that some more later, I think.
And speaking of maintenance, the reflective tacks don't last forever, right? They do lose their reflectiveness over time. So for me, it's good if you're standing right at ground zero, you flash around, you can see a reflective tack. Okay. I've done it where I've stood at ground zero, and with a powerful enough beam, I can see, oh, there's 3 more ahead. We'll just keep walking that way. Right. It kind of takes some of the fun out of it, seeing that far ahead, but at least you go, okay, I know I'm on the right path because it's right here. So
what's the longest you've ever searched for the first marker?
boy, with Endo, it's probably with you. I mean, we've tend to do the night caches together. I don't know why that is. But nonetheless,
they're scary. That's why.
That's right. I need that moral support.
I don't have to outrun the predator. I just have to outrun Chris.
There's a very good chance of that. That's why you bring me along. I thought it was moral support.
You know.
Okay. There was another one we did in Tacoma where, we got into it pretty quickly and then lost the tacks altogether, and wandered around, turned around and walked out. And that's when we saw the final. And that was just by chance. Otherwise, that would have been a DNF and we would have moved on. Yeah. So, I showing those tacks, or UV, whatever it is that you're showing at night, having those at regular intervals. I realize trees don't grow in regular intervals, but having that, I've done them where they're viewable from, you find the first tack, you stand there, you sweep the flashlight, oh, there's the next one, and off you go, and you stand there and you flash to the next one.
Yeah.
Those
I was laughing, Chris, because it made me think about putting a night cache in an orchard.
There you go.
Trees at regular intervals.
The other thing is, when you're in, it's hard to determine how high up some of these fire tacks or markers should be.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They can be very high, but trees grow, plants grow, and sometimes they get covered up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So we'll talk a little bit about that in a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you've talked about, Chris wonders why I insist he smear himself in peanut butter.
I thought that was an odd thing to do.
He's never questioned it before. Now you guys are going to.
Everybody brings it up. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
They smell delicious.
It's cologne.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. You've mentioned reflective tacks, UV ink, reflective tape. There are lots of different mediums out there to use. Each one has a little different experience and requires different maintenance. We've been talking about maintenance too. So what do you think about those?
Well, I'm going to flip the question right back at you.
Really?
Which one do you like best? Do you like the invisibility of UV ink over the simplicity of just pushing a tack in? Or do you have something that demands, black light elements?
That could be interesting. Well, I'm going to go with the ever popular, it depends.
That's not fair. No, you got to choose one. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know how well UV ink would hold up in just a forested environment, natural. UV ink would hold up far better in a more urban environment, I would think. And I would expect maybe, although I still remember the very first night cache we did was in a very urban area, Gig Harbor there. And several stages, I recall, were, the whole thing wasn't in the parking lot, but several stages were. And we stood there in the parking lot and waved the flashlight. Gosh, we're done. There's no more steps. And I thought, wait a minute. There's like a RV parked in the lot. Let's go look behind the RV because there's a pole I can see. Yeah, there was one on the pole that the RV was blocking from us. So we were able to continue from that point forward. But those were fire tacks, or maybe they were reflective tape because it was in a more urban area. I think of UV ink. I'm sure UV ink could be very good at marking a trail like that, but I think of it more as maybe a hidden waypoint, some details for the waypoint. Once you're there, use the UV tools you've brought to read the hint or the coordinates or something for the next one.
Okay.
Bryling brings up an excellent point. I think UV ink needs to be protected from UV rays for long-lasting results. Yeah. The UV ink, or it was more of a paint. What I got came in like a nail polish size container.
Sure, a little brush in there, kind of.
With a little brush, yeah, that you could paint on. Now, if you look at it closely, you can see, yes, like if you had painted something on there, you've got a little raised surface.
Yeah.
Right. So there is that to see. But if you're not looking for it, it pretty much disappears.
Yeah. I mean, you can pick out reflective tape or fire tacks in the daylight too if you're really looking for them.
Right. And you have getting a flashlight with 1,000 lumens is not difficult anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Right. So that really can distort the amount of night you need.
Yeah, for sure. And I think so. Yeah, we've talked about some of the different materials that you can use, and there is a wide variety, right? I mean, we tend to just think about night tacks, the reflective tacks, but there's reflective tape. There's I mean, I've seen them done with like the reflectors off bicycle pedals, like the little square
Oh yeah,
reflectors before. I've had an idea once that I thought would be kind of fun, and it would be to use like the cat's eyes off the road. Like if you had some of those and hang them in some trees.
Put them along the path, so if you veer off, you hit the
yeah. I mean, the highway department doesn't like it when you take them off the road.
You take them off the road, yeah.
But they got lots of them.
Yeah, what are they going to miss a few? Come on.
Exactly. But maybe because we each live in slightly different climates of the Northwest. So Jim, since we're talking with you, if you were to put a night cache out in the Tri-Cities area where you live now, what do you think might be the best reflective thing to use for a night cache?
I mean, I lean towards fire tacks, physical tacks. I think they just are the most durable. But well, I hate to just keep saying it depends, but it does depend on what I'm attaching them to or whatever. If I'm out on a trail that's just rocks, that's going to be a little tough. But I think overall, they're going to hold up and last longer than tape or UV paint or anything like that.
I think so. Yeah.
Though I'd have to say, you put reflective tape onto a light pole with permission. I think that's going to last a long time.
There you
until
go.
they paint it over.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
This Brilling guy says, Brilling, yeah. There's a driving night cache near Duncan on Vancouver Island that uses bike style reflectors on posts near corners where you need to turn. Wow. That seems like fun, unless you're going too fast.
Yeah. I've done that one. And that was the one I was referring to with the bike style reflectors. I'm not sure if that one's still there or not. But speaking of Vancouver Island, there was a comment earlier.
Oh, good.
BC Rock Crawler. There we go. He said there was hold on. There we go. He said there was a night cache
covering your eyes.
I know, right? Hi. There was a night cache in Victoria called the Witching Hour, and you couldn't see the starting point until you looked at the cache page between midnight and 1 a.m. And then when you went out to go find it, you're wading through chest high Solal. But yes, that was a great night cache, which had a different angle on, because we were talking earlier, Chris, right, about how does it all start? Well, this one, you kind of have to start it at midnight just to get the starting coordinates. So I thought that was clever.
Wow. Here's an interesting comment from GSM times 2. Yes, if you look at over, sorry about that. This is not working out well.
Oh, this is kind of fun.
He says, I took a friend to a tunnel that used UV paint to lead him to the cache. He could not see the paint. It was very evident to me, but he had cataract surgery and the lenses had UV filters.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Who'd have thought?
So,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
exactly. So that's an interesting, I mean, there was a time that the cell phone cameras picked up UV light really well, UV
Yeah.
and infrared light.
Right.
Since then, they've put filters on them that don't pick up that light as well. But yeah, I never considered that. I wonder even if polarized eyeglasses could
Mhm.
affect some of that.
Yeah, I don't think polarized glasses would, but definitely UV filter would. Yeah, interesting.
Talking about how well the fire tax age, Cash Crikey says, I have some cheap ones from AliExpress, and they've lasted ages in my testing.
There you go.
Okay.
He also pointed out earlier that his username and handle are the same. So
So if everybody's wondering, well, how come it works for him?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it works for Cash Crikey. All right, there you go. Hey, let's keep talking about some planning around night cache. So if you're putting one out, sometimes or often when you're putting out any geocache, you want to be thinking about your difficulty and terrain ratings.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you guys think an appropriate terrain rating would be? And do you think like there's one thing to walk a trail in the daytime and say, okay, well, this is probably a T2.5 trail.
Mm-hmm.
It's got, it's got a little bit of incline to it and whatever else. But after dark, does the terrain rating change?
I think it does. If you're walking a route-filled trail at night, I'm going to ask this question to you, Mr. Land Monkey. How many reflective markers per minute is the sweet spot for keeping people moving, but yet challenging them?
I don't know that I would do it like a per minute. I think like you guys were talking about earlier, it's kind of fun to just stretch them out a little bit, right? And stretch them out just enough so that people start to question themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did I miss one?
yeah.
To me, that is just part of the fun of the experience. Often I've seen it when it's on a trail network where there's a lot of branching of trails. It's at every intersection. It would be like just past the intersection of the trails. So you're like, oh, okay, I'm taking a left here.
Yeah.
That's a handy way of doing it as well. But yeah, I mean, I have done some where they just like load up the trees. It's like every couple of steps, there's another. It kind of takes the fun out of it a little bit to me.
Right. It takes that questioning away. Did I miss it? Am I going the right way?
Mm-hmm.
It's dark. I could have missed something. You have to be able to look up at the trees and down at the path at the same time.
Yeah. Cash Crikey says most of the forest areas near them are national parks. So they're wondering if they would allow you to stick tacks there in the trees. I would say check with your reviewer. You might not like the answer you get,
right?
But
Yeah.
There you go.
So, since we're talking about terrain ratings and night,
Yeah.
do you have any examples of night caches that had an appropriate terrain rating versus one that maybe nobody considered the night aspect and was dangerously underrated?
That's a good question. What I can tell you is there's one night cache that it's near the Parksville area, and was it Parksville or was it Campbell River? No, I'm pretty sure it was Parksville. But anyway, somewhere on Vancouver Island that Mrs. Monkey and I did, and it was a very short trail. It was just a little loop trail,
Mm-hmm.
but we walked that loop like 3 times because the final, and I think we'll talk about like how you define a final for a night cache in a little bit, but we couldn't see it. We kept walking past it. And so, I guess we're starting over again. So, but that trail itself, like during the daytime, that would have been like a 1.5. It was a very simple trail, but because there's a lot of turns to it, and little dips, and trails age. So there's, it wasn't like super rocky Rudy, like on the the Cascade Mountains or the North Shore Mountains, but it was, there's little potholes and puddles and such. So, I would say definitely up at least up a full point in the terrain rating to do it at night, I would say.
So do you think you should increase the terrain of the
I think
rather than just say, oh, this is a 1.5?
Yeah, I think you should probably bump the terrain rating up for a night cache, because some people, I get it. If you're like challenge hunting and you're like, oh, this isn't a terrain
Right.
3.5.
Yeah.
I wanted a 3.5. But you also got to think, like, the whole initial purpose of the difficulty and terrain ratings is to help people plan for their adventure, right? So that people can know, okay, this is going to be a 2.5. I think I'm physically capable of that. Or this is a 4.5. I can't hike a 4.5. I'll pass on this one. So I think being reasonably appropriate to say, I'm expecting you will do this at night. You might not. Some people don't, but I am expecting you will do this trail at night. And at night, this is an appropriate rating for this trail. So I think that's the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, lots of good feedback around this topic.
Yeah, the Twinkie says, I'm going to refer to him as that now. CRS 98 says it's much harder to spot dangerous things at night. You don't see that dangerous drop off, let alone the cougar who's just watching.
Oh my, yeah.
Wet Coaster says you need a flashlight. So wouldn't it be a T5?
Interesting. I think the argument can be made that it is.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, we talked about maintenance briefly. That trees grow, and okay, so we're talking about putting tacks into trees, right? That's what the fire tacks are. They're tacks that are smaller than, say, a push pin for your cork board at the office. As far as the head goes, the pin is about the same, maybe a little bit longer. So, as you push that into tree bark, a tree's going to want to respond by trying to cover that up. So I've seen, bark grow around a tack.
Yeah.
Well, and certainly moss where we live.
Moss, yes.
Yeah.
Or, you get a tree branch that comes down and partially obscures it.
Good point.
Yeah. There are always things like that. So take steps to be environmentally responsible. Right?
What do those steps look like?
Well, first and foremost, get permission. Right?
Yeah. Good tip.
Check with the land managers. Don't just go in, oh, hey, you know what? I'm going to do it in this Safeway store parking lot because they have an edge that's right along the forest. That'll be fun. And I'm going to go ask a cashier, hey, do you mind if I put some stickers on your light post? Oh, no, go ahead. Because what do they care, right? That's not the way to do it, folks. So I really don't have a problem sticking that small flash tack into a tree, right?
Okay.
The bark of a tree is thick. It's designed to protect the tree, and that's all that's going into. You're not really going into the heart of the tree. It's not like putting a nail up there.
Yeah, I think so. Hey, on that note, Chris, we were talking about this a little bit before the podcast started between the three of us. I always just assume when I think night caches, I just assume you're in a forest, and it's and as we said earlier, that it's the reflective tacks in the trees, fire tacks. But as you mentioned, there are some that you've done. I've done some that are in an urban setting. We talked earlier about the one near Duncan that's along some roads. What do you think? What if someone wanted to, maybe somebody wants to put out their first night cache and they're trying to figure out how and where to do it? What do you think a preference would be given to putting the tacks on trees or on man-made structures like maybe fences or railings?
So here you go. Cash Crikey asks, where are the best spots to hide? I live in the country, so there's a few places. I had never considered putting fire fire tacks onto fence posts, but that might be a real option.
Yeah.
I've been to fence posts or fences that have been entirely covered with ivy. Well, that's not going to work so well,
Yeah.
right? But if you're wit's end and you live in a desert, a fence post may work really well. The problem is I look and they seem to be in people's eyesight more than a fire tack way up in a tree. So,
but if you live in a part of the country where maybe the trees aren't that big,
yeah, exactly. Now, I wouldn't do it on newly planted trees, right? I wouldn't go up to those, push a fire tack into them. Just, hey, we've got this new walkway, this breezeway. It's going to be great. They've just planted new trees. I'm going to be the first one and go push pins into these, and where the fire tack is as big around as the trunk of the tree. No, that's, that's a bad idea. So, but on a fully mature tree, pushing in that pin, that fire tack, I don't think is going to hurt it at all.
Yeah.
So I think tacks are the easiest. But you know what? Fence posts could work. Wit's end, a rock, that's probably not going to be the best. Yeah.
Just bring your masonry drill and epoxy resin and just embed it right in there. It'll be fine.
And your barbecue tongs.
Well, of course you have those.
Yeah. That's what the UV paint's for. Just dip the rock in UV paint.
Yeah. What do you think about small pieces, and I'm talking small pieces of reflective tape, say on metal fence posts? Is that helpful, or is that vandalism?
I mean, is Munsey vandalism?
Yeah, it could be.
So just, we'll go there. But I think if it's, I don't know, it's probably better than lots of other things I could get painted on. But and yeah, as Wet Coaster says, never suspicious to walk into a park at night with a ladder. Nope,
not at all.
Nothing to see here, folks.
Walk in with your stilts on. You don't need a ladder.
Your drywall stilts.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these I look up there and go, that's 15 feet in the air. How did they get that on that tree?
Yeah, they walked in on their drywall stilts. And GSM times 2 says the tacks in high trees will last longer than chest high tacks. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. If people can't get to them,
right.
Because sometimes people will spot them during the day if they're lower, if they're at eye level.
Yeah.
Can happen.
So you're walking down the trail and you're following this fire tacks, reflective tape, etc. How do you know when you've reached the final? I mean, do you put, I've seen trees with 10 fire tacks in an arrow shape pointing down. I've just seen a cluster. I've just seen like 3. I've seen tacks of a different color. Well, that's a tack of a different color. When you get to the final, so does a single tack always mean, okay, you're on the right path, keep going?
Often, there's a few different, you've seen a few different ideas in the chat as well. One of the ones that I've seen, big green arrows, one of the ones that I've seen in the last couple of years when we went out and did a night cache, that was a lot of fun. I thought was really well done. It was when you got to ground zero, they had pairs of tacks in the trees surrounding where the tree that the geocache was hidden in. So it's like all the other trees are looking at the geocache.
Right.
So that was kind of fun. And I think, Jim, you came out with us to do the fireflies.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a fun one too.
That was fun. I remember you said it had kind of deteriorated a bit from its heyday.
And it's not there anymore, but it was fun.
That was fun. And I like they laid that out well. So it was a nice long walk through the park. But when you were done, oh, look, here's the road. The car's right there.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to backtrack the entire length of the hike.
Mm-hmm.
That was handy too.
Yeah. So a few different things. Jim, like, what do you think would be the most effective or maybe even creative that you've seen used to identify a final location?
Okay, well, I had to bring it up because you did it with us. It's been a long time. Long-time listeners will know it's our favorite night cache ever. But Team Noltex's Control the Night was done with infrared emitters or detectors and laser pointers and LED lights and all kind of stuff. So you would bring a TV remote, or there was a TV remote hidden in a the starting point, and then you would point it around, and he'd placed infrared receptors somewhere with a blinking red LED next to it. So all you had to do was when it detected infrared light, it blinked and go, oh, there's the next one. And you'd go to that tree and there'd be coordinates listed. And the final, you did the same thing with your remote, but instead of a blinking LED, it turned on a laser pointer and shot it across a clearing at the final tree. And that was just the coolest thing ever.
That was
Sadly, it was a maintenance nightmare, and it succumbed to vandalism and other ills that it's no longer there. But I think he put it out twice. I don't know if it was the same GC code
No.
I did the
redone or
second iteration of it with you
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Laura and I did. Yeah.
So yeah, really, really well done. But barring that's like the next
That's
level.
this level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I like just a different, like I talked earlier, cluster, especially maybe a cluster of different color, because most fire attacks I've seen are either white or amber, and so you're putting the white fire attacks to the trail and 3 or 4 amber ones together, or with an arrow shape. I like your description of all the trees looking in at the common point. So that's what I would wind up doing. But
Yeah. The last couple of night caches I've done, in the description has been very well worded. You're looking for white reflective tacks
yeah,
until you get to a tree that has 3 orange or yellow reflective tacks. That's where the cache is. Oh, that's very clear. I understand that. Okay. And then we get there and there's only 2 reflective orange, but okay.
yeah,
We got the idea.
It's more than one.
Right.
yeah.
No, that's good stuff. All right. Well, and we've had a little bit of talk in the chat already on this next topic that we're going to talk, but it's how to make things a little more immersive. So, how can you have a theme or a story that can elevate the night cache from a simple walk in the woods to a real adventure? Now, I'll throw an idea, one that Laura and I did. It was actually 3 night caches that in 3 nearby parks.
Mhm.
So it was a whole night out, and actually there's 4 because the final was somewhere else. But you basically had to drive to park 1, do a night cache that gets
Oh,
you
wow.
and it was called the Trail of the Pink Panther. And when you got to each of the caches, you would open it up and it would be like full of like gems,
Jewels.
and clue words.
Uh-huh.
And you needed to find the 3 night caches and then combine the clue words to get the starting point for the final night cache.
Hmm.
If I'm remembering how it was all done correctly, but it used the theme of the Pink Panther movies, right? So I think there's lots of different creative ways you can go scary. We've done Laura and I've done some like scary themed ones. Or you can go, fun and creative. I saw Cash Crikey commented working with the Towns group and make a fun story. Yeah, I mean, maybe even, do something that is perhaps there's something historically related to the community you live in. That would work as well.
I was just curious, Land Monkey, did you find a cache of, I don't know, stolen French jewels?
Yes, exactly.
Too soon.
And I also found out that your dog bites.
Is your dog that?
It's not my dog.
As what coasters? Red tacks go left, green tacks go right, white tacks go straight.
I like that.
Seen that
That's
done
interesting.
before, yeah.
I
And
hadn't
that's
seen that
funny
one
because
before.
if you know anything about planes or
Or
boats,
boats, yeah.
Exactly. It fits, right? Land Monkey, if you were to create a brand new night cache tonight, while we're on the podcast, right?
I'll be right back.
Okay. What unique legend, maybe a Southwest Canadian legend, a Northwest legend or story, would you base the theme around to maximize the spooky or immersive factor?
It's funny you mentioned that because as you were mentioning that, I was just thinking about some fun thing. And Bryline just said exactly what I was thinking of. There's a legend in the Fraser Valley of Slumax Gold. And if you haven't heard of this legend before, Google it up. And there's been some caches put out around it. And there's lots of books written about it. I'm not gonna give up too much of this. But yeah, if I would encourage people to read up on it. It's quite the legend. But that would be one. I think a go-to, the Legend of the Haunted Barbecue Tongs. Indeed, yes, indeed.
Yeah, Starcacher says, I caught up to live 10 minutes ago, and I love how the barbecue tongs became a repeat reference after the initial story.
Apparently, degrees of funk and barbecue tongs.
Yes.
The other one I think that would be great for any of us out here who live in the greater Northwest would be leveraging Sasquatch somehow, right? Like, but that would be my probably where I would start, was with one of those. How about you, Jim? What do you think you would?
Well, you can't find Sasquatch, so it would just be DNFs all the time.
Right?
Right?
That's true.
I find him all the time.
Do you?
Yeah, he's so easy to find. I don't know why these shows never find him.
I don't know. He doesn't believe in me either. Bigfoot, Sasquatch is obviously the first thing that crosses most of our minds. I don't know.
Wits End, what came to me? Do you remember the Manhunt series of geocaches we did?
In Olympia?
Yes, where we were following the trail of a murderer, a guy who murdered somebody, and this was in real life. They got a posse together and they hunted down to find him, and there was 3 or 4 caches. And he, this guy hanging out in the woods would catch frogs, put them in little cages, the handmade cages.
Story.
Yeah.
And then, put them on the trail. And if somebody comes close, the frogs go quiet.
Yeah. That was his alarm system.
So that would be a good one to work with. And I immediately think of DB Cooper.
Oh, that's a good Northwest one. Yeah.
So the first stage is in an airplane.
Yeah.
You have to skydive at night.
Well, that's where the red and green reflectors come into play. On the wings. Yeah.
Hey, Sprouter threw one in here. The Wenatchee Wildman. Is that a thing? What is that?
The Wenatchee.
I've heard the name, but I can't recall the story
I know.
right at the top.
But I would assume that's a Bigfoot-like.
Okay. And isn't the Mothman, isn't that an Oregon thing?
Is that Oregon or is that East Coast? I'm sure there's a bunch of, what are they called? Crypto.
Oh, you know what? I might be associating with Portland, but thinking the wrong Portland.
Okay. Alondro has go find my Finding Bigfoot cache in Kitsap County.
Is that a night cache?
Yeah, West Virginia. Thank you, Justin. Yes, West Virginia is where Mothman is.
Okay, thank you.
That's almost heaven.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's the story about the murderer. Is the Wenatchee Wildman.
Okay.
That's the story you guys are telling. Okay.
Apparently so, because I just remember Manhunt series and like, wow, that was a lot of fun. We read the descriptions driving to the next cache, and it just built the story. It was a story written so well you could picture it in your head without having to remember any of the details. Like I just did.
Very cool.
Yeah. Hey, that was a while ago. He was born in 1880.
Ooh.
So.
Was he unjustly accused, or was it?
I don't know. I haven't read that far yet.
Okay. Well, you know what?
Get back to him at the after show.
I'm looking at this. I don't know what this is reference to. Legends of America. W.A.
John Torno. Maybe it's the same guy.
That could be him. Yeah. Okay. So
yes, it is.
We've talked about a lot of night caching, but what tools are essential in night caching?
Well, barbecue tongs.
Barbecue tongs first and foremost. And I'm going to go with Wits End's answer. It depends.
Yeah.
Hopefully the cache owner has been descriptive enough in the cache description to tell you, hey, this is a night cache and it is fire tacks and trees. Or it's UV paint and you need, so.
or sharks and freaking lasers.
That's right.
There you go.
Like,
But as Cash Crikey says, a torch,
a torch.
by
Mhm.
which he means the expression used in countries other than.
Yeah.
And as Chris, you were saying, the number of lumens you can get in a torch or a flashlight these days are insane. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just out of the world. I see a 3-pack of flashlights at Costco that say they're each 7,000 lumens. I don't know
Hmm.
how that's possible, but wow.
Well,
At that point, you're not night caching. You've just turned to the forest today in front of you.
pretty
yeah,
much. Yeah, I think my little flashlight is only 500 lumens. At the time I bought it, that was incredibly bright, but now
Mhm.
it's just an average little pocket flashlight.
yeah, it's
It's still a
crazy.
great light. I still carry it
It
every day and
is.
use it all the time.
That's a fantastic
I
flashlight.
use it a lot in server racks and behind equipment and stuff like that.
You talk about like the EDC kind of stuff, right?
Yeah,
Like a good flashlight is
yeah,
core
and
EDC. That and a pocket knife.
it's got a
Mhm.
strong magnet in the tail, so I can stick it in the top of a server rack and light the whole rack. It's great.
Nice. That's practical.
Now, Chris, you've got a special piece of gear that you carry. How is that? How has that saved you a find?
I've got are you talking about my little tiny flashlight
Yeah,
that's 1,000 lumens and multiple colors? Now it is bright, but it's not a focused beam of light. So it's bright in a short range,
yeah, okay,
Ah,
right? So while, in a room, that's great. In a server rack, yeah, that works really well.
hmm,
Out in the forest, it's fine,
yeah,
but it's not, you don't get that distance you're really looking for. So,
that, that's a good
um,
point.
that would be great to pin to the lapel or the bill of your cap
yeah.
to point down and see where you're walking. But getting something now, I know this is old fashioned. Sorry, I haven't bought a flashlight in a long time, except for this little USB-C chargeable one. But something like a mag light,
I was
right?
just gonna say I missed the
With
old
that
mag light.
adjustable beam. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. I've got a great hiking backpacking flashlight that's very similar to Wits End's. Super bright, probably not as bright as the ones you can get now. I've had it for a number of years, but it definitely it has a focusable beam, and that is definitely a thing you want for night
Mhm,
caches. The other thing I was going to say though, for night caches that works really, really well is a headlamp.
mhm,
yes,
And the main reason for that is because it projects the light out at the level of your eyes. So even if the tacks aren't at the level of your eyes, the tacks can be way up in the trees, but your eyes will be angled at exactly the right the right angle to catch the maximum wavelength coming back from the night caches, the reflection of the light back. Um, so honestly, I would say if you're gonna do night caching, a headlamp
mhm.
that has a far beam on it
yeah,
is that's the perfect tot, I think.
And I like to hold that right at my temple at eye level,
Yeah,
right? So that's exactly where you're looking at. So you get the maximum light right on the path of your eyes. Yeah.
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 See, I do the opposite with the headlamp. I point it down and towards my
Mhm.
feet so I can see what about to trip over.
I pointed into Mrs. Monkey's eyes
Well, that's fine.
when I
Opposite.
say,
Yeah.
"Hey, I want to ask you something."
Huh?
That's a really good point. When you're using headlamps, don't turn and talk to somebody.
It's so hard not to do.
Just be rude and look straight ahead.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, too funny. All right. Well, we've covered a lot of stuff, and
Oh,
I was
yeah.
just looking at the time, and my
Mhm.
goodness, we've run the clock out for tonight. There's a few more things we were going to talk about, but maybe a different episode.
It was that spooky story and the very scary barbecue tongs.
Yeah.
Folks, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Caching in the Northwest.
Yeah, we really hope you did. We want to take a moment to thank Landsharks, Cashley, and Tourism Valemount, our corporate Denali level sponsors. lendsharkz.ca is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online. They're shipping those online orders daily. And Cashley, well, Cashley is the geocaching app for iOS. Download it today if you don't have it already from cashly.com. And if you are seeking outdoor thrills or just a peaceful winter retreat, Vail Mount awaits you. We want to thank our faithful Denali level supporters, and of course, that's Landsharks, Cashly, and Tourism Vail Mount, but it is also Cool Cow Cachers and Hawaiian Miley. And folks, if you want to know more about supporting this here podcast, head on over and click that Patreon link on the cashingnw.com website so that you can have your name read out just like this.
Like Lost Kin.
Well, that's me. Team Noltex.
Camp Clan.
The Geobirder.
You, Dak.
Boomer 365.
Green Words.
LG 9000.
Geo Karen.
Doramore.
GSM ×2.
Butterfly Girl.
Peach of On Her Way to Las Vegas.
IMAX.
Flagman.
The Gundark 2000.
Wet Coaster.
Ackerdock.
J Car.
Subway Mark.
65 cents the Twinkie. I mean, CRS 98.
The GeoNav Pro.
Maybe I should go through this list and change them all to their YouTube names. Like Kitty Quest.
Or geocaches.
With a terrible tease.
Alondro.
Nerve.
BC Rock Crawler.
Skyhawker.
Antaeus.
Mountain Bike.
Trexer.
Just Carlo.
Experts on some of the local legends. Sprouter.
Allen.
Seebeck Tribe.
JT Coffee.
Keats 94.
NW Cats.
B Pendragon.
The Caching Cants.
Korsgott.
Kid Vegas 19.
Logwork.
Just finding our way.
Whidbey Island Gal.
Railroad.
And you talks to rocks.
Folks, thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Your support helps keep the quality shows coming. If you like the show, please click the Patreon link on the cashingnw.com website. Better yet, share your ideas for things we can talk about. If you like the vibe, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and give us a review. If you were in a restaurant, you would tip. If you were in a live audience, you would clap. If you were in a cemetery, you would scream. But since you're on a podcast, leave us a free, fast, fabulous, fantastic 5-star review. You can also call into 253-693-TFTC and leave us a comment, ask a question, or take our leftover pumpkins with barbecue tongs anytime in the day or night. And of course, you can email us at feedback@cashingnw.com. Join us every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific for a live show and chat. The show is produced by Chris Umfenauer, Jim Paulwitz, Jay Kennedy, and Brian Lang. It's licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2025 by Chris Umfenauer. And folks, I ask you to stay tuned for
The After Show.
You know, we've done 640 episodes. I still can't find the button for the after show when I'm looking, or when I'm not looking for it, when I just know where it is.
It's a ghost button.
Ooh.
Scary.
Justin wants to say, can we appreciate Chris's amazing festive keen? See, somebody noticed.
What did I miss?
He's a ghost to look.
I'm a bit of a ghost tonight. I'm somewhat transparent.
Yes,
and somewhat gray.
You've been turning gray for years
until you said something.
Less.
I was too busy peeking over the chats.
Yeah.
Like this, you have to do. That's going to be a challenge for you. Let's see. This is Kitty Quest said, once doing a night cache, we overshot the final, which was off to the side. After a short gap, started seeing more and kept going, realized they were a different shape. Remnants of an archived cache.
Oh, yeah.
Boop.
Cache crikey, I just found out my stream was 170 seconds behind. Well, it seemed like you were keeping up. So there we go.
Ham says, I figured the green was related to the flu shot comment.
Yes.
White Coaster says, we can see right through you, Chris.
Yeah.
'Tis the season.
Oh,
Okay,
you guys.
Who's going to hand out candy with barbecue tongs tomorrow night?
Oh.
If you do, please send us a picture or tag us in a picture on Instagram or
Was
Facebook.
that the suggestion during COVID to use
That was one
barbecue?
of them.
One of them, I know. The idea was to use a chunk of PVC.
Yeah.
And you could put candy in it and shoot it down to the sidewalk.
Yeah.
I figured a wrist rocket works pretty well too.
Stay on the sidewalk, you little disease monkeys.
And
I'll
you
shoot-
liked
I'll shoot
those atomic jawbreakers, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, they do call some of the candy rockets, right?
I
So,
can neither confirm nor deny.
too funny. What else have we got going on here? There was a lot of really good stuff you guys had.
You
tonight.
guys are great. This was a great show
It
too.
was
I
fun.
love
Oh,
the
you know what? Cash Crikey asked a good question earlier, much earlier on, and it's is it disrespectful to make a night cache inside a cemetery? Now, jokingly says the locals might not be that happy, but different communities have different
It's true, they
reviewing
do.
regulations.
guidelines
Guidelines,
about that. So again, check with your local reviewer. They're usually nice people. I don't know about some of them.
Most of the time.
I've done several Spirit Quest
Right.
geocaches.
There's a few around the Northwest. Yeah.
Yeah, that seems to be a series. I don't know if it's an official series or just something that people have picked up, but they're in graveyards, but they're typically done during the day because it's a regular full cache.
Right.
Night in a graveyard, probably not the best idea. It's not that it's not allowed, but it's just people are going to assume you're up to no good.
Yeah.
At night in a graveyard,
Especially if you go in with a shovel.
Yeah, exactly. What?
Backhoe.
I got one for you, Master. It's Abby Normal.
Abby someone. Hans Delbruck.
But make sure wherever you put your night cache that it has 24-hour access. Right? Don't use a city park that closes at dusk. That's just wrong.
Yeah. Now I got to go watch Young Frankenstein again.
Yeah. IHAM says in many cemeteries around here, it is very much not allowed.
Yeah. There you go.
I don't know if that's right English. Yep. Probably the best I don't then. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Easiest not to.
But if you want to, with permission, if you want to put one in there, a regular cache during the day, I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
They're open, it's not technically public land. Those are private. That is private property. So get permission and be respectful.
Yeah. I think that's the key. Is to be respectful. But again, and I would say, because Cash Crikey asked a lot of really good questions tonight, clearly wants to get a night cache out. Sometimes just like ask your reviewer, so what have other people in nearby communities done? Because the reviewers do talk to each other, right? So you might get some good intel of like, okay, you know what, this is what has worked well in other communities in Australia, and I will allow this, right? So then you sort of get the heads up and you can move forward, which is good.
There you go. He says, I've got general permission from the council to place caches on any of their land.
Nice.
So fantastic.
Awesome.
Also go to an event.
Oh, there you go.
And ask questions there.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think we covered.
I think we covered it all.
I think we covered that. Yeah.
With extra barbecue tongs.
Yeah.
It's your. Oh, that's awesome.
I have my log sheet ready. Anybody want to come next week?
Awesome.
How are your Willetens looking, Jim?
I think I've had a few more this week. I think I'd have to check.
Awesome. Well, I hope it's a fantastic event. That's a great log.
It was not original. Somebody in the chat last week or week before.
Geocaches.
I think it was
Yeah.
So I thought, I'm going to do that. That's a good idea.
That's cool. Where did you pick that up?
Online.
Okay.
Where do you buy anything nowadays?
Yeah, fair. I didn't know if it was like dollar store.
Some big jungle website. I forget the name of it.
Fair enough. Good stuff.
Peruvian,
well, that was a lot of fun.
Right?
What's that?
The Peruvian website?
Yes.
Must be.
Yeah,
Must be.
something like that. Okay. Folks, thanks so much. And until next week, get out and get caching.